to Fly on Your Wall. We are your hosts, and we are back for season 3. I am Dr. Jonathan Matthias Lassiter, and I am whoever I say I am.
All right now. I am Marquita Moten, and I too am who I say I am. And I say I am magical, deliberate, spiritual, and wise.
Well, it is so great to be back with your magical, spiritual, and wise self. And because we got a lot to talk about. It's
Oh
been
my gosh, we really do.
it's been gone for a minute, but now we back with the jump off. Okay.
Okay.
So what we talk about today, Keita?
You know what? I've been really focusing on being unbothered.
Hmm.
So I think we should talk about what it means to be unbothered
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
how we stay unbothered
Mm-hmm.
and how other people can get unbothered.
Okay. Okay. So how we stay unbothered and how what it means to be unbothered,
Hmm.
how we stay unbothered, and
Hmm.
how other people can be unbothered.
Exactly.
Got it. That's our 3 points. So listen, I have to get it together.
Yes,
Do
you're
the
gonna map it
list. Have to map
out.
it out. Have to map it out. All right. So what does it mean? What does it mean to be unbothered to you?
To me, being unbothered really just means that I'm maintaining focus on what deserves my
Mm-hmm.
focus.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that could mean my self care, running my business, minding my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess essentially it means like cleaving to the truth of who I am, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what's going on around me. That's what being unbothered means to me. What does it mean to you?
I mean, it means those things to me as well. I think the way that I think about it is given that we're human beings, there's like, we fluctuate. Our emotions fluctuate, our thoughts, fluctuate. They go in and out. Sometimes we fixate, sometimes we don't. Um, we're taking in information and stimuli that doesn't even get processed in our brains during our waking hours. Sometimes it only does it, at night. Some people say those dreams, that's neuroscience hypothesis of dreams. But anyway, so it's for me, it's more about not necessarily being unbothered as a either or. It's more about
Mhm.
homeostasis, if that makes sense. So there are
Finding
moments
that
where,
balance.
right. So there's definitely moments when I'm bothered. Sometimes shit just bothers me, you know, because and what I've been talking about with my therapist is that what we've discovered is that it's typically those moments that I feel like an injustice is being done or has been done,
Mhm. Mhm.
that gets me more than anything. And
Mhm.
so I'm bothered in those moments. But then I have to come back to the unbotheredness. And what that means is processing that, metabolizing that, and saying, okay, what's the truth here? And what can I do about it? And what's going to be my best plan of action in doing that thing? And sometimes the only things I can do is practice acceptance and lean into my spirituality, my higher power, the wisdom of my ancestors. And then
Mhm.
sometimes it is about the sort of active coping and actually focusing and hitting it directly. And that may look like sending a very direct email that's reading someone for filth in the most
Mhm.
professional of ways. But trust me, I write that email with such authority and directness that it feels like I've used a whole bunch of 4-letter words, even though I've used none.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is about really maneuvering in the environment in a particular way or figuring my way out of an environment. Like, okay, that's the way I feel. Exit plan in exit plan mode. So
Mhm.
it's unbothered to me. It's not so much like never being bothered because I'm human, but it's about how do I get back to that place of I'm not bothered to level 60, I could keep it at like a 10 or something, and that's sort of like the equilibrium, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing what I know of you, being
Mm-hmm.
that you're primarily analytical,
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that that's your process
Mm-hmm.
as well. And yeah, it makes
Mm-hmm.
total sense. When I say unbothered, it's not about maintaining a state of unbotheredness, because,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we are all active participants in this illusion.
Yes.
Um, and so I think that it's an impossibility to be unbothered and maintain it unless you're also unfeeling and
Yes.
therefore potentially diagnosable with antisocial personality disorder.
That
And we're
part.
doing that.
Mhm.
So
Right.
yeah, so yeah, there are definitely moments where I am absolutely bothered by life. And sometimes I'm bothered by the lack of movement or the perceived lack of movement that I see in the direction I would like to go.
Mhm.
So there is some botheredness. But
Mhm.
for me, being unbothered is a place that I consciously make effort to come back to,
Mhm.
because it allows me to center myself.
Yes.
So some of the ways that I do that for myself are meditating. I do a lot of deep breathing. Anytime I start to feel like really anxious, I automatically take a couple of breaths. And then I remind myself of the truth. Like I might go stand at my altar and
Mhm.
I'm just like all in my head thinking all this crazy stuff about I can't do this or I'm not that or whatever. Everything that basically equates to feeling like that I'm not enough in
Mhm.
some area of my life. And so in those moments, after that barrage of lies that I've told
Mhm.
myself in my head, then I always bring myself back to the truth. And that helps me achieve a centeredness or balance, like you said, wherein I'm more aware of who I am. And the
Yeah.
more that I practice doing that, the less bothered I become in various situations.
Mhm.
When I'm working with clients, and I do this for myself as well,
Mhm.
I'm a strong proponent of hate mail, as you know. I have no problem with hate mail. And so, hate mail, in my use of the word, is basically emotive writing.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
for those of you who are therapeutically inclined, it is a rational emotive therapy technique
Okay.
that I like to use. And it's kind of just part of my natural way of being, since I do incorporate a lot of spiritual components into my therapeutic practice anyway. It ties both of them together. So it allows me to educate clients on the benefits of getting all the emotion out first. Like if somebody made them upset or whatever, insulted them or whatever, and they ready to pop off, then I will ask them, one, what's the value of this relationship to you?
Mhm.
Because if it's somebody that's important to you, I'm not quite sure that popping off is the direction you want to go if you
Right.
want to keep this relationship.
Mhm.
So we work on ways to get those feelings out through
Mhm.
writing hate mail. Those are letters that you write. They're entirely emotional. Every thought, every feeling, every word that you want to direct at them, but we do not send them or allow the other person to read them. Typically, we'll write them, or I'll write one for myself. I hang on to mine until those feelings are completely purged.
Mm.
So sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes it's a couple of days where I just let it sit and just, check with myself as to whether or not I need to add to that letter.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then when I'm finished with it, I burn it. Same thing with clients. We'll process it together, talk about the emotions, get all that out, and then burn it. So then when they're ready to talk to the person, it's about facts
Yeah.
and it's in a calm tone because people
Mhm.
receive those things better and
Yeah.
there's more education.
Mhm.
It's one thing to tell somebody, oh, you ain't shit,
Mhm.
and they will know that you're mad at them, but they're not
Mhm.
gonna know why.
Right.
Because telling them, that they ain't shit isn't saying
Right.
I was really hurt by the fact that I had this accomplishment and you didn't congratulate me.
Mm-hmm.
Or it really gave me pause that I was in a tender space and you weren't there to hug me, or you didn't even ask what was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different expressions
Mm-hmm.
of the same phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's more beneficial for the relationship. And it also gets clients thinking about their feelings and the truth in
Mm-hmm.
a different way, which a lot of people are not used to doing.
Mm-hmm. I love everything you just said. And, we talked about defining what unbothered is, what we do to be unbothered, and how others can be unbothered. And you just covered, 2 and 3 right there. I would
Mhm.
definitely say that the emotive writing is definitely something that I've done with clients. Exactly how you mentioned doing the exercise is how we do the exercise together with my clients. The other thing I do is you also mentioned perception. So
Mm.
and this I find very helpful for myself since I am so analytical, it's just like, okay, what's going on here? As I said, what's really real, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So who is this person? Like, are they a person that is coming for you? One, are they actually coming for you? Or are they just unaware of who you are?
Mm. Mhm.
And let that sink in. Are they
Mhm.
really coming for you? Or are they just unaware of who you are? And what I found is that most time people are unaware of who I am. And what I mean by that is not unaware of who I am is, the earthly manifestation of the spirit, which is Jonathan Matthias Lassiter. But they're unaware of that spirit piece, right? They're
Mhm.
unaware of my brilliance. They are unaware of the great power, the oneness that I manifest, right? That's what
Mhm.
I mean. And because they are unaware of that, and for some people they are aware and then they choose to ignore or are afraid or you know, uh, want to constrict, and that's not going to work with me. But if they are unaware of that, then or want to constrict or whatever, then that's when I move to that space here, then I'm able to say, you're inconsequential at that point. Because you don't know, or and you fail to respect in either way,
Mhm.
right? You're not worth my time because you're not um it's sort of like Glenda told the Wicked Witch of the West. She said, "Be gone, you have no power here."
That's one of my favorite lines. I use it all the time, especially like when people try me.
Hmm.
And sometimes people just trying you,
Sometimes
like you
people just
said.
trying you.
That's
And
the
in
first thing
those
I
moments,
remind myself of.
exactly.
They
So
have
in
no
those
power.
moments, in those moments, yeah, I'd be like, okay. I have to remember who I am. And to realize, oh, they don't know who I am. You know what? They ain't got no power here. Why am I over here stressing?
Mhm.
And they don't even know who they messing with.
Mhm.
They ain't even got no power. So let me
Mhm.
go and manifest my power.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
again, after that consciousness is there, then I can go and manifest the power and choose in a more even, and I would like to say effective way of how to proceed. And sometimes it's proceeding by cussing you out, but
Mhm.
I'm cussing you out with intentionality. See, I'm not reactive at that point,
Right. It's
right?
still an educational
It's
experience.
it's still an educational experience. Or sometimes, again, I say, okay, so this environment isn't for me. This environment with this person is not for me. So let me remove myself from the environment,
Mhm.
right? But either way, I have now remembered who I am and then reclaim my power. And that's the unbotheredness in that moment. And so that remembering, that consciousness, um, reclaiming or remembering that consciousness, re-embodying that consciousness is really helpful for me. And then I can act with intentionality. Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah, I mean, I think that's I would say that's probably the most powerful way that's helpful for me. And so I try to do that work with clients, but often with clients, we have to deal with the emotionality first because that is so high. Absolutely. Before we can get to the conscious raising or the remembering piece. And those techniques that you talked about dealing with that emotionality around the emotional writing. Sometimes I do somatic exercises and we figure out where the emotion lives in the body and do some visualization there. And then we move on to that consciousness piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I like I use the somatic techniques as well, in typically in the form of tapping. Especially like most of the clients that I've had tend to feel the tension like in their chest area or their stomach. And so I will tell them to just tap in that area and follow the energy and then sweep it away. So then it's also incorporating a little bit of energy work in conjunction with the emotional and the psychosomatic work.
Right, right.
We out here doing a lot, y'all.
Listen, you might want to book an appointment.
Oh, absolutely.
So we are both accepting clients currently. So
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So let's hit them with the cannon fire because we got some cannon fire for you today. And we ain't got my sound effects today, but we gonna do it anyway. So for those of you that don't know, Cannon Fire is where we share the books that we're reading. Sometimes it can be films we're watching that helps us reclaim, center, stay unbothered, but get our mental health in order. So do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so speaking of being unbothered, you know, it's a whole bunch of mess going on out there in that world. And one of the ways that I maintain my equilibrium, that homeostasis, is by moving into the fantasy world. I've been an avid reader forever, and I love me some fiction. And I recently came across this author, Kosoko Jackson. And so this is a Black gay male writer who writes Black gay male fiction. And so this book is called I'm So Not Over You. I like to think of it as sort of like a actually, I want to say millennial, but I feel like he may be more Gen Z. But he definitely feel like some of the references, I'd be like, you just referenced Taylor Swift. I don't really know if that's like
okay, so he's younger.
Yeah, I feel like he's younger, but like 25, you know. But either way, I really like this book, sort of like the 25, you know, below 30 version of Elin Harris for us old heads out there. But a little bit more, just a smidge more literary acumen than E. No shade to E. We love E, but you know, we all know. But you know, so I'm So Not Over You. It's really good. It's about this guy who broke up with his ex, who is like a heir to a what is this called? Like a brewery company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a really successful brewery company, but the guy Hurston is out to his family, but the family doesn't know that he broke up with this ex Ken. So Hurston asks Ken to go back to Georgia, takes place in Atlanta, to go to his cousin's wedding, and be his date. And so it's all about how Ken's not over Hurston, but he's trying to like, you know, move on and like be, you know, unemotional. But Ken is so dramatic. I'm low key like, Ken, get it together, you know. But anyway, listen, I could go on and on about this book. Clearly, I'm enjoying it. I'm getting my life reading this, but this is my Cannon Fire. I'm So Not Over You.
That is funny. It sounds very entertaining. So I kind of go back and forth between, well, with what I read,
Mm-hmm.
my preference is fiction. And I'm sure y'all already know there's a lot of truth that is written under the guise of fiction or marketed
Mm-hmm.
as such. But sometimes I feel like I need something more substantive. So I actually picked this up, MetaHuman
Oh, Deepak.
by
Okay.
Deepak Chopra. And it's all about awakening.
Mm.
It's about, yeah, just the process of realizing your own personal power by first educating you on the fact that what we perceive as reality is an illusion.
Mm.
So it's kind of deep, it's very layered. Um, but the way he breaks it down, he really takes a lot of time explaining the process of awakening. Like first he talk about the illusion for a long time, then
Mm.
the process of awakening. And
Mm.
then in the back, there's like these little daily actionable items that you can do
Mm.
for 30 days. So um I ain't gonna lie. I think I've been awake this whole lifetime. So a lot of this was a lot of this was stuff that I didn't need.
Mhm.
So, but I do like the workbook in the back. But
Mm.
for people who are new to spiritual awareness and things like that, I can see how this will be very helpful. So I actually started this, and like I said, it gets deep. So you may have to read like a couple of pages and then pause.
Mhm.
So I intersperse it with
Every time.
every tongue got to confess. By
Okay.
Zora Neale Hurston.
The Zora.
Zora, the Zora Neale Hurston.
All right.
Um, I feel like Zora's compilation stories are always perfect for relaxing and pivoting from a stressful state of mind to a more like lighthearted state of being, because the stories are just crazy and they just crack me up. So, and they're really short, so you can read like three of them and then go to bed. Like, and it
Love
just
it.
completely shifts your mood.
I
So
love
that's my
that.
candy.
You know, I love me some Miss Zora Neale Hurston, honey. So the
Yes,
original
absolutely.
OG. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There are.
Um, okay, so let's do a replay. So to give the people they take home points. So today we were talking about being unbothered. And so we defined
Mhm.
unbothered as what, how do we define unbothered, Kitty?
Just maintaining a sense of balance within yourself.
Right.
Then
Right.
we talked about what it takes to get there.
And we talked about emotive writing. So writing a
Hmm.
letter and sitting with that letter until, you know, the feelings dissipate. And we also talked about remembering who we are and acting with intentionality.
Hmm.
Um, and so those are some of the main ways that we get unbothered and stay unbothered and help our clients get unbothered and stay unbothered. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today. Gosh, that went by quickly.
It really did. Fortunately, for those of you who want a little bit more,
Hmm.
we offer an extended version wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yes, and it starts today. So today will be the first podcast that we do where we talk about even more about being unbothered. Okay,
Right.
because again, it's a whole lot out there trying to bother us, honey, and we
Absolutely.
don't need it. But for those who are just here for the YouTube show, we will bid you adieu. But please, I hope you stand around for the podcast. So see you next time. Fly on the wall. Follow us on all the socials. All the information is below. And yeah, see you next time on Fly on the Wall. Bye. Love you.
Bye.